against Syracuse.
And that was really the key for them in that run because they were behind in the fourth quarter. And they turned up their defense, and that made all the difference.
Holman asked for the ball, got it, and then a terrific dish to Johnson, the first person not named Robbins who has scored for the Wolverines.
Michigan does a nice job of moving without the ball. They know that Hillman is going to get all kinds of attention, and everyone else feeds off of it.
Florida State stuck on 3 points.
Here's the double again on Gillespie.
Michigan doing a good job of keeping Florida State off the offensive glass. And contact, no foul. There's contact and a foul. So Michigan up 8-3 at the break.
Yeah, ball movement here. You get bottled up with the pick and roll coverage, but if you keep the ball moving, you'll find the open man. Michigan up 5.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is brought to you by Air Force Reserve. College tuition assistance is available with the Air Force Reserve. And by Citi. Welcome What's Next in the Basketball Hall of Fame, where the game never ends. Basketball Hall of Fame up the road in Springfield, Massachusetts. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson. We're 3 days from Christmas Day. Everybody all decked out, ready for the holiday.
Fun times right now.
Not fun for Florida State, LaChina. How about they're just 1 of 9 from the floor?
Yeah, and you have to credit Michigan's defense. This is what they do. They disrupt. They're scrappy. They use their length. All 5 starters 6 foot or taller. And the backcourt for Florida State is Woolfolk at 5'9" and the Kamu at 5'9". And so they've been able to cover up shots and take away vision.
Haley Brown with the basket. Want to correct something. Morgan Jones just 1 foul for Sue Semrau's Florida State team as she chats with Bruce Morris. Brown 2 for 2 from the line. So some substitutions. That's Emily Kaiser, sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana. And we see some pressure now from the Wolverines.
Yeah, they will pick up in a 1-2-2 full court, sometimes three-quarter court. Very aggressive, and most of the time they will go back into a 2-3 zone defense.
Sammy Puisis, number 2, in for Florida State, along with number 1, River Baldwin, the freshman from Alabama. Still ice cold from the outside. Dilk gets it. Pass a little bit too strong and turns back over. This is only the third time these two teams have played. Last time was 3 years ago. Florida State won that game. Some of the seniors for Florida State participated in that. A good matchup before both teams plunge into their conference seasons. Michigan opens at Maryland next week.
That is exactly what Michigan will do to you. Shoot the gap in this full court pressure. They're quick. Play on a string. One thing that Florida State has to do, as Woolfolk misses that one, they're going to have to use their fake pass to make a pass. I mean, all of the fundamentals against pressure. You can't be casual. You've also got to come back to the basketball. And when you don't come back to the ball, that's what happens. Steal and layup.
Robbins with the steal. Hillman's first basket. River Baldwin now at the free throw line after she was fouled by Kaiser. And River Baldwin, 6'5", from a small town in Alabama. Didn't play against kids her size, and as we mentioned earlier, Coach Sue Semrauer liked her quick adjustment.
Yeah, played at a 1A school, so really small school. Ended up being the number 27 overall recruit, according to ESPN Hoop Girls, and had a lot of really great programs after her. She was also All-State in the shot put in volleyball. I'm impressed with her. Not only her relentlessness, her physicality, good hands, picks up the game easily. Shot way off there by Johnson.
And then Gillespie got a hand on the follow. Gillespie, the kid from Meriden, Connecticut, still has not scored. He's only taken 2 shots. But Florida State breaks a drought.
Breakdown defensively for Michigan equals Woolfolk, and that's what she does. She'll hit the gap. She's quick. Nice handle. Aggressive to the rim.
She's the second leading scorer behind Gillespie. Good defense. We saw Baldwin get a hand on the block. She's leading this team in that category. And a held ball. As we remind you, all access with Carolina men's basketball continues tomorrow at 7 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. You get access to sights and sounds you usually never get from practices, workouts, games, and other Carolina team-related activities. So that Carolina blue all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney Banghart, speaking of Carolina, off to a fantastic start in her time in Chapel Hill. Probably one of the bigger storylines right now in the ACC is just how well that team plays together. You can see Banghart's impact on that program already in the young season.
First season, trying to transition after the great career of Sylvia Hatchell. Baldwin inside, draws her second foul.
A really good pass there by Ikamu. You see Michigan trying to cover up Ikamu with a trap off of a pick and roll, but she still has enough vision and gets the ball up high enough. And that's where you see Baldwin's ability to make a catch up high. She's got a smaller defender on her and just powers it up.
Hillman at 6'2", about 3 inches shorter, and that's 2 fouls that Baldwin has already drawn. Good free throw shooter. Just 64% on the season, but it's coming on as of late. In our last game against North Florida, River was the first non-senior to lead Florida State in scoring this season. And what was their 11th game?
Yeah, you were talking about the ACC. Well, Florida State's already kicked off their ACC with a win against Clemson. That's what I love now about the schedules and the 18 games for the ACC as Dilk gets an easy one with good ball movement there, but you get to start a little bit earlier with some of the ACC games, and Baldwin is going to pick up an offensive foul here. Good job by Verajao getting down, getting position.
So Baldwin picks up the foul, her first, takes a seat on the bench. We talked about Isabel Verjao. She is about to inbound the ball, number 34. She is from Brazil, and her uncle, Anderson, was one of your favorites in the NBA for a while.
I loved Anderson Verjao. Just did all the little things so fundamentally sound. And Kim Barnes-Rico said he's still living in Cleveland, comes to the Michigan games to see her play. Basketball running in the family.
Hillman with the miss. Verjao crashed to the floor. She's all right. Florida State, Morgan Jones gives it up to Myers. Good awareness by Jones to get it over to the open player.
That's been successful for Florida State when they can get into transition using their speed in the open floor, not letting that Michigan defense, that physicality, keep them from using their speed.
Florida State getting back into it, only down 3. Dilk, the point guard, a little awkward, and yes, she did take steps. Bruce Morris, Karen Preatal, and Fatu Sissoko Stevens, our officials this afternoon. Florida State on an 8-2 run. You see turnovers are even at 4 apiece. Semrau told us it's going to come down to who has the most toughness in this game. She knows that Kim Barnes-Rico likes to take away strengths of other teams, kind of a chess match. Gillespie's been really quiet for her.
Getting back in the 2-3 zone. We'll see them go from man 2-3. I've seen them play a little bit of both this season. And that shot off by Woolfolk.
Good team box out by Michigan as the ball harmlessly went out of bounds. Neither team shooting the ball very well. Florida State just 21%, 3 of 14 from the floor. And they came in at a 47% clip. Expected good defense. We've gotten it. Dilk with a sweet feed from Hillman.
How many times have we seen Florida State get beat on the backdoor cut? There's either got to be backside help or you've got to keep your head on a swivel and be able to move and stay between ball and player.
Morgan Jones found a little bit of space.
And good pass.
Jones' first field goal of the afternoon. Shot clock is off for Michigan. Johnson directing traffic. Seedor inside to Hillman, who didn't even look at the basket. Verjao with the miss. Follow wouldn't go for Johnson. And the first quarter comes to a close. Michigan up 3.
Yeah, Michigan has been able to get some good looks on the offensive end because they're going backdoor using Florida State's pressure against them. Easy one there for Dilk. Of Indiana. Terry Morin's team will be good out of the Big Ten this year. You know, the Big Ten's interesting because I think Indiana will be better than most expected as Robbins gets fouled and will go to the free throw line. But I also think Rutgers is rather under the radar. I have them ranked in my top 25. I watched them play several times this season, and I just think Vivian Stringer has one of her better teams. I love Varela Garantes, who is their leading scorer, just a dynamic player. But that's one of the teams for the Big Ten that I think people need to really keep their eyes on. Obviously, Maryland's up there. Michigan State. It should be a good year.
Robbins gets them both after she was fouled by Wolfett. And UCLA with the lead over Indiana in the waning seconds, so UCLA will get that win. And how about Texas beating Stanford by 9 at the half?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Texas really grow over the course of this year. Karen Assen's team off to a slow start, but you know, they showed some really good moments, obviously, in the Tennessee game, which was good for them. But Stanford is also not playing with their full arsenal. I mean, when you say #1 team in the country, the Stanford team that I have been voting #1 is more of what they have with their full arsenal. So Maya Dodson and Dejanay Carrington, they're banged up right now, but they got some really good and really talented freshmen. So it would not surprise me if they took a loss before they get injured. Excuse me, before their injured players come back.
Stanford, one of the many teams in the Pac-12 that are making an impact. We had a hip check foul on Valencia Myers on one end. The officials continuing to call this rather close. And now Wolfick's been called for a foul.
Florida State's just really playing on their heels right now, Pam. I mean, the toughness of Michigan has kind of punched them a little bit, and they struggled some in their game against St. John's. They were coming off of a long break, off of exams, and then really was a blowout win. Travel.
Yeah, Verajao took some steps.
Take a look and see if we can. Yeah, Verajao definitely took an extra step. But Florida State looks like they're still kind of haven't quite woken up. We haven't seen a sharp play for them in the last few games.
Sue Semrau talked about developing depth. That's a good look inside to Baldwin, who finishes with her offhand. Also, she talked about working around exams. She admits it hasn't been pretty in the last few games as they're trying to figure some things out. But developing depth as the season goes on. There's a moving screen, no basket.
Yeah, Verajao set a moving screen on that one, but Ikamu is starting to adjust to the size. We see her jump and make that pass. We talked about how the Michigan coverage is covering up, using their size and length on the backcourt of Florida State, but Ikamu is starting to come out of that. She's a very good decision maker. Assist-to-turnover ratio is very good, and has moved from the 2 to the 1 spot and is learning more of how to play point guard, but that is a charge.
I got Ikamu for that.
This is what they've done, what Michigan's done pick and roll coverage-wise, is they've sent 2 at the ball handler and tried to take away the screen from Ikamu, force her to go into that trap. And she definitely charges into the defender.
Seedor called for the travel for Michigan, and you also saw after the play Ikamu, who's the senior, doing some traffic directing with Baldwin because she was a little bit too close and kind of forced that. And wanted Baldwin to get a little bit farther away to free up some space.
But going back to Florida State, it just had, as you mentioned, Pam, haven't been their sharpest. The North Florida game, St. John's. Nice pull-up shot from Weber there.
Courtney Weber, sophomore from New Orleans, with her first basket. Coming off the bench this year for Coach Sue Semrau. Dilk up and under, how about that? Don't depend on the point guard to score very often. She was Indiana's Miss Basketball in her senior year, Carmel, Indiana. Nice look. Baldwin, though, got it knocked away. Dilk with the block.
Ikamu's got to shoot that. And Sue Semrau told us that oftentimes she needs her to be more aggressive on the offensive end. She overpassed on that possession.
Wants her not just to accommodate, but to shoot. She shot that time. Offensive board helped along the way by Poises. Long pass into the corner. And yes, by Weber. By Gillespie on the bench right now. Not on the bench, on the floor, I meant to say. And Gillespie helped to force that turnover.
Good defense. What a matchup between Naz Hillman and Kaya Gillespie on that low block.
2 of the players we had our eye on. Between them, they only combined for 2 points. Poises off the Gillespie assist.
Second chance points have been an important part of Florida State's attack this year. And so when the ball's not going in on first shot, you got to get in there and get on the glass.
In the last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 54-9 in second chance points, so plus 45, and an outside shot by Robbins, who's off to a sweet start. Her dad is among those in attendance. Robbins with 10. Her dad, Kevin, played at Michigan State and in the NFL.
Wonder how Dad received that news.
I'm going to the other guys. Few know more about the ACC than Mark Packer and Wes Durham. Knowledge put to the test tomorrow night, 8 Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app. They'll take you through the best games, players, and plays from the last decade. The decade in review, we're about to hit 2020. How'd that happen?
I just can't believe it. It's not just getting ready to be New Year's. It's getting ready to be a new decade, Pam. Where'd the time go? I still remember, was it Y2K when we were getting ready to turn to the year 2000? Goodness, you were a baby. Still a baby.
Dilk, good rebounding guard, pushes it up. And then the block. Morgan Jones blocks it, recovers it. She's got Gillespie to her left, but Dilk cut her off. So that's a lot of contact, and then Dilk comes in and got a hand on Jones.
That was a dangerous pass by Jones. Again, Florida State has to make sure when they see a pass that they can make it, because Michigan does a good job of recovering with their length, getting in the passing lane. They're super scrappy on defense, and Gillespie's asking for it.
Yeah, she really needs to get things going, but Kaya misses her third shot of the game.
And that's not enough, if you ask me. Kai Gillespie has to touch the basketball more for Florida State.
She does have 3 assists, but that's not what they need. There's a nice one-armed rebound by Gillespie. And Bruce Morris with the call against the Wolverines.
Yeah, Brown was using that forearm a little aggressively, trying to defend in the low block.
That is the second on Haley, a junior from Hamilton, Ontario. Been in the Canadian national program for the last 6 years. Verjao probably will check in for her. She goes to the scores table. There's a Kaya Gillespie move.
Beautiful move by Gillespie. She's so versatile. Got an outside shot, but she could also go down into the paint. Pretty footwork.
Played her first couple of years at Maryland, did not get a lot of playing time, admitted that she was not as invested as she should have, and has seen her career flourish in Tallahassee. Jones getting active on the glass. Florida State with a chance to take the lead. Clarkson can't get it. Gillespie, follow, and there is your Florida State lead.
There she is. Kaya Gillespie has stepped up her intensity and her energy in the last few moments of this game. And you see the difference.
Michigan's gone over 2 minutes now without a point. Robbins gets the lead back. Robbins has not missed from the floor today, LaChina. She is perfect.
She has been having a great senior season. It's Kayla Robbins, but Kaya Gillespie has something to say about Michigan's lead. The local from Meridian showing what she can do. Did I say that right, Pam?
Meriden.
Thank you. In blue.
That didn't start until this her senior year. Had a career high 23 in that overtime win against Syracuse. Robbins, the senior from Mitchellville, Maryland. That's in Prince George's County, right outside of Washington, D.C. Yeah. Lindsey Allen, also from Mitchellville, played a great career at Notre Dame. And now Robbins continuing over in the Big Ten for Michigan. Good one going on. Florida State, some cold shooting early. Florida State, one of 10 remaining unbeaten as we start play on this Sunday before Christmas. Robbins almost forced a turnover. 6'1", really good length out there on the wing. Barnes Rico talking about how they're better in defense and rebounding. There's a look at your unbeatens. UCLA staying unbeaten with the win against Indiana that just completed. Did not hit the rim, so shot clock violation.
UConn at 9-0 is the other half of this tournament. We'll take on Oklahoma, sending our thoughts and prayers to head coach Gino Auriemma having to get a procedure done, and we'll miss that game. Chris Daly, she's done it before.
Yeah, I think she's got a little bit of experience. She'll be all right.
She might be undefeated in games where she's had to take over.
Not a loser like Gino.
Of course.
No, but seriously, we hope Gino's doing well as he rests up. They hope to have him back after Christmas when they get into what will be their final season in the American Conference.
Yeah, boy. Back in the Big East. That's when I got to know Kim Barnes-Arico, because she was at St. John's at that time. Dilk with a beautiful take. She is just so crafty getting to the rim.
She's 4 for 4 from the floor, as you see. So between Dilk and Robbins, they have only missed one shot doing most of the work on the offensive end. And River Baldwin.
River had to come into the game and get the scoring going for Florida State. It was slow until she got in and got a couple of passes, got to the free throw line. That shot is off by Verjao.
Baldwin leading her team with 8 points off the bench. Sandy Puisis back in for Florida State, one of their three-point shooting specialists. We have not had a three-point shot made in this game by either team.
Robbins is all over the place right now. Look at her, Pam. She's guarding Kamu and getting lots of tips and deflections.
Kamu is 0 for 6 from the floor. Robbins part of that. Puisis with the rare two-pointer.
Nice and under control from the freshman Puisis.
Usually 83% of her shots have come from beyond the arc this year for Puisis, but she's got a couple of twos. And there's some contact on the perimeter.
Both of these teams getting after the point guard. Kamu and Dilk are earning everything they get. Look at Jones refusing to let Dilk use that screen. And we couldn't see the contact on the replay of that angle, but officials obviously always looking for contact on the ball handler, which is illegal contact.
That is the second foul on Morgan, so Michigan in the bonus. And Amy Dilk, 68% from the charity stripe, misses.
I really feel like a lot of Michigan's success this year hinges on Dilk and her ability at the point guard to run this team, to take the reins. There's no more Nicole Munger to defer to the back court. Remember, Hallie Thone also graduated. She was a 2,000-point career scorer, so they don't have her size inside. I just think Dilk is really the key.
A slashing move to get to the basket. It does not pay off for Kamu, but there was a foul call.
Nice drive by Kamu. I believe that Johnson may have been inside the restricted area on that left foot. Couldn't see it there, but I think her left foot was in the restricted area. She's also a little bit late getting her shoulder squared.
Kenray Johnson picks up the foul. Her second. Now a chance for Kamu to finally get on the score sheet.
There's the drive here, and yeah, Johnson really just doesn't get there in time. Bottom line, not even an RA play necessarily. She just did not get squared in front of ball handler in time to take a charge.
So Kamu hits them both teams in the bonus as we go inside 2 minutes to play. Florida State trying to stay unbeaten and match its best start ever. They were 12-0 in the 04-05 season. Dilk slid.
This run to get back into the game by Florida State was led by Kaya Gillespie. Her ability to score, Florida State could get back, get their defense set, but she just had tenacity on both ends of the floor. And when she plays that hard on every possession, Florida State is at their best.
She has 4 points, 4 rebounds, leads her team with 3 assists. There's Kaya. Nice pass to Baldwin, another assist for Gillespie.
Beautiful, unselfish pass there by Gillespie. She's close to home, playing in front of family and friends. She could have easily forced that shot, but she made the right basketball play. Right here off of the bounce, draws 2 defenders and splits the D. Baldwin's a great finisher around the basket, shooting it at 68% for River. That's the right play by Gillespie.
Kamu called for the last foul. Robbins at the free throw line. Sue Summerall talked about Kaya Gillespie, said that she doesn't care who gets the credit, just wants to win. They had a big dinner with her family, went to her high school in Meriden, Connecticut.
Not Meridian.
No, that's totally different.
Might be in Mississippi. I might be down to the southeast
you're thinking
somewhere.
south. Robbins delivers at the line. It's 31-28. Robbins leading all scorers with 13. Baldwin has 10 to lead the way for Florida State. Gillespie getting aggressive here in this quarter, a little bit too strong. And a held ball.
Florida State running some screening action to get Gillespie down into the post because she's been so good going middle from the low block.
.11 seconds to shoot for Florida State. Gillespie waits near the free throw line.
Double screen for Gillespie.
Good catch. Kim Barnes of Rico thought it was coming to her. And that's a lot of contact, and the charge to Gillespie.
Yeah, a little bit of a force there by Kaya. Take a look here at that right arm. Dribbling with the left, but uses that right arm, extends it into the defense, and displaces her defender. That's the right call.
That's the first foul on Kaya.
High hedge on the pick and roll by Michigan.
Bad miss, but a good follow by Johnson. Senior from Toledo. Check that was Verajao with the basket, my mistake. Able to get in there.
I like Verajao. She'll be a good player as she gets stronger, but good understanding of the game.
Robbins with the block. Kayla Robbins has had a terrific all-around game so far for Michigan. Dilk, look at that elusive move. Amy Dilk beats the buzzer. Michigan takes the lead 32-31 at the half.
But they can put Kaya Gillespie in position to be more effective. And to me, Woolfolk and Akamu are going to be the engines that drive this team all season. They've got to have a better show in the second half.
Florida State coming in 11-0 on the season. With 10 unbeatens left, and we kind of pick up where we left off with bodies on the floor and the ball coming back this way. Naz Hillman, there's a good look at her. The 6'2 sophomore from Cleveland was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, also the 6th Player of the Year, and a consensus first teamer last year as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, really, she's gotten covered up by size, and that's the challenge for Naz because she has not yet developed an outside shot. So if she can't score down low, she really doesn't have anything else to go to.
And that ball just fell off of the fingertips of Myers.
Florida State in a man-to-man defense. Nice slip by Naz Hillman, but again, met with stout defense, and you got to credit Florida State. They've defended around the basket very well. Now, both of these teams are in some foul trouble to start the third quarter. That's something to keep an eye on here in the third.
Yeah, several players with 2 personals, including Hillman. Come out on the perimeter regarding Gillespie, a couple of talented players right there. Kamu had it grabbed by Johnson. Nice play by Akenre.
Not easy to do this. I mean, Johnson ties it up on the move. Akamu got it on the dribble, and she got a hold of the basketball with 2 hands.
Kamu still was able to rip through, and a good call. Johnson, who is the senior from Toledo, got through some knee injuries early on in her career. Hillman turned around and saw that she was wide open and then missed it.
And that's a win for Florida State's defense if you can force Naz Hillman to have to face up and not use her body and her physicality to score.
Both teams looking for their first points of the half. Wolfert with the miss. Kayla Robbins.
You see Akamu pass that up. She's 0 for 7 in the game. Just doesn't have the confidence right now to put that shot up, but she's got to be able to hit that mid-range jumper.
And that's what they want her to do, is to be more of a scorer. Things have not fallen for her so far today. Dilk had a really good first half, number 1 in blue. Shot clock at 7. Hillman's not going to shoot from there. Yes, she is, and she proved why she shouldn't.
Didn't look good coming off, Pam.
Poor finishing. That's something that the sophomore, no doubt, will continue to develop as her career goes on. Count it, Gillespie's heading to the line.
With a little shimmy shake when she hit the floor. Kaya Gillespie just has the ability to elevate her game in moments like this. She takes some contact from behind, but the focus to follow through and finish on this face-up, beauty.
First points of the half.
Hey.
Connecticut native. They call it the run to the sun when the high school teams come here to Mohegan Sun to play in the high school tournament. Kaya Gillespie winning 3 when she went to high school in Meriden at Capital Magnet Prep School.
Transfer from Maryland, sat out. Last year she was starting to get comfortable, but this year we're really seeing her game. Field goal percentage up, 3-point percentage up, rebounds up, all in year 2 in this program.
River Baldwin, number 1 with the ball in her hands, came in right away with an impact.
Boy, Gillespie wanted it bad. She was posting up. Got to find a way to get it to her. And I really think that they haven't gotten her the ball more because of the ball pressure and the length of Michigan.
It's a forced shot. Wolfwick with the shot clock winding down. Johnson kind of tripped. And now Jones ahead of the pack. Finishes. Florida State now up 3.
Michigan has struggled to get good shots so far here in the third.
Brown in and out, still no 3.
It may take more patience. It may take more patience in working the ball around. Michigan has to be willing to let the shot clock work down some to find a better shot than what they've been getting.
Jones took it right to Dilk, and Dilk had her cut off initially, but then too much body. And that's the 3rd foul on Dilk, the point guard for Michigan. Nothing But Net comes your way every Sunday at 8 Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Preview the week ahead. Look back at the best games from the previous week. Highlights, analysis, insight that only the ACC Network can provide.
Football will be over soon. It's all basketball now.
Wait,
Nothing
right?
but net. That's right. Come on, let's play these bowl games, Pam, so we can get on to the real stuff.
How many bowl games have you seen so far?
0.
There you go. That's my girl. River Baldwin inside. Baldwin from Gillespie, another nice assist.
And even though Baldwin scored that had everything to do with Gillespie's patience. Nice pass from Robbins for the finish by Hillman.
Just a second field goal for Hillman.
I mean, this by Kaya Gillespie, she has essentially 3 defenders really there between her and that pass. Double team, but Baldwin moves and Gillespie's patience and vision make that happen. I really like the chemistry we're seeing develop between Gillespie and Baldwin.
Kaya's got 6 assists to lead both teams.
Whatever the defense gives you, that's what you take, and that's what Gillespie has done.
See, Hillman got the ball just below the free throw line, not even looking to shoot.
And what Hillman has to be willing to do is what Gillespie has done. Get down on the block, let the double team come to you, and then find your teammates. They were slashing off of her early in the game, but she's gotten frustrated and started to take too many outside shots.
A lot put on the shoulders of Hillman this year with the graduation of Haley Thome and Nicole Munger. She is drawing a lot of attention, including from River Baldwin, who got the block.
And even if a double doesn't come, she can still find a slasher and cutter. But be patient.
Baldwin posting up strong, but Gillespie just a little bit too tall for the 6'5" freshman. Timeout on the floor, Florida State up 3. She has tied her career high with 6 assists so far. 6 points is about 11 below her season average, but as LaChina has mentioned, often she's done a really good job of passing out of the double teams that she has drawn.
She's been the momentum changer, either with the pass, with a good decision, with a rebound.
She's a really good all-around basketball player, and this is her senior year. Coming home to play in Connecticut. Wolfhook delivers. We've not seen a lot. Coming in, we thought Akamu, and Wolfhook would have more of an impact scoring-wise.
Especially because we've seen Wolfhook put up big numbers. St. John's, Texas A&M. No one puts up 24 on A&M. Beautiful.
Hillman.
And that's something that Naz Hillman can do as well, is use her foot speed. If she gives herself some space and try to go around bigger defenders instead of through them.
There's a nice effort. Akamu gets her first field goal of the game and drew the foul.
And Dilk getting into a little foul trouble here. Akamu going left. Dilk tries to come over and help as she sees her teammate Robbins beat off of the bounce, but a little too late for Dilk. Sometimes you just got to let him go.
Looks like they've called the foul on Robbins, so Dilk fortunate to avoid picking up what would have been her 4th.
Very lucky. I thought for sure that was on Dilk.
I think Amy did too. But Robbins picked up the foul, her second, and then Dilk finishing on the other end.
She's been able to get to the rim just at will, and maybe unsuspected aggressive scoring, and so Florida State is really not looking for her, but she's got some good looks at the rim.
And she is 6 for 6 from the floor. Gillespie from downtown. Good job by Wolfhook to keep it alive, and Florida State hangs on.
I mean, there just really isn't a reason that Florida State doesn't get the ball stopped here. You had enough time to get down and try to get in front of her. Dilk taking advantage of the freshman creases. Gets to the rack.
Dilk and Robbins are combined 11 for 12 for Michigan as Brown sits down. The rest of the Wolverines just 5 of 29 from the floor. So take those two out of the equation, and the shooting has not been good. Gillespie picks it up, and there is a great block, no, a foul. Verjao thought she had the block.
Trying to read the signal from the officials. It looks like, I don't know where, mine must have been with the body.
They called it on Isabel.
It looked clean up top.
Second foul on Verjao. That sends Valencia Myers to the line, sophomore from Solon, Ohio. Florida State not at full strength either. They have some players who are out hurt. Savannah Wilkinson has a boot over there on the bench. Siwani Lassiter also, and Isabella Nicoletti, who they thought would play some point, is hurt.
Honestly, with the injuries that Florida State has, it's scary to think how good they could be if those players were healthy. I mean, Lassiter played minutes off of the bench. Wilkinson has experience. They've had to go younger off of the pine because they don't have those players, and they also have a non-traditional point guard at that spot due to the injury of Nicoletti.
Dilk, there's your first 3 of the game for either team. Amy Dilk now with the new season high in scoring. What a game for the sophomore from Indiana. She's got 16 and is 7 for 7 from the floor. Myers, good look. Baldwin couldn't corral it.
Florida State's got to be careful not to get sucked into taking the shot that Michigan wants them to take.
That's what Michigan does, trying to force you out of your comfort zone, and that's a blocking foul. All Access with Carolina men's basketball continues tomorrow at 7 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. We'll get never-before-seen sights and sounds from Carolina practices, workouts, games, and other team-related activities coming your way tomorrow at 7 Eastern Time on the ACC Network.
I just love those all-access pieces. Look forward to more of those on the ACC Network. The one on Notre Dame was phenomenal. Very well done. Notre Dame women's basketball, that is.
Very interesting year for Muffet-McGraw, having to replace all 5 starters, over 90% of their scoring. Notre Dame, by the way, the only team to beat Michigan so far this year, as Varejao connects.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the year where everyone gets their get-backs.
Get their Irish on.
Get their, but you see the talent for Notre Dame is there. It's just the chemistry. Not quite where you'd want it to be. And Michigan drops back into a 2-3 zone here.
Gillespie off the rim. Morgan Jones tried to keep it alive.
Should I say the chemistry and the experience, as Muffet-McGraw has a very young group that hasn't played a lot of basketball.
Hillman could rebound. Gillespie got a hand on it. End-to-end action now. Michigan on top. And the first 3 for Florida State. Akamu delivers.
Big shot. Akamu only shoots at 31% from long range, 15 threes on the season coming into this one. And Hillman is starting to find her stride around the basket.
Certainly is. She's got 6 points in this quarter, and we're tied up.
Back in a 2-3 zone again for the Wolverines. Got to find some way to get Gillespie involved.
There she is, but she's got 2 players on her. Backed in and drew the foul.
Oz Hillman has a knack for scoring around the basket. Fakes it to the left, and that spin is just too quick for River Baldwin. She does not recover. Big, strong move there by Naz.
Hillman called for a foul on this end. That is the 3rd on her. Amy Dilk also playing with 3 fouls. Gillespie 2 for 2 from the line. Mohegan Sun Arena continues to fill up because they're about to play. The number 2 team in the country, the Connecticut Huskies, getting ready to take on Sherry Cole's Oklahoma Sooners after this game is finished. Basketball fans coming out in force in Connecticut. Hillman tried to force it inside. Florida State up 2 as we inch towards 30 seconds to go in the 3rd. Wolfwood, and a couple of threes here for the Seminoles.
Gillespie is just doing really good things on the offensive end. Florida State running their offense through her, allowing her to make decisions through multiple defenders.
And that is a new career high, her 7th assist of the game for Gillespie. Shot clock off for Michigan. Dilk left wide open. She has not missed. What a game for Dilk. She has tied her career high in scoring and gets Michigan to within 2 as we head to the 4th. Florida State.
We got warmed up here at Mohegan Sun.
Florida State trying to stay unbeaten. Michigan 9-1 on the season. Great pre-New Year matchup. Big Ten ACC. Gillespie bottled up, dribbled out of it, and made a sweet pass. What a great escape by Gillespie.
Who needs a point guard when you've got Kaya Gillespie running the offense from the middle of the floor? She is picking the zone apart, picking the double coverage apart.
Now has 8 assists, 9 rebounds, and 8 points. She's knocking on the door of a triple-double.
How about Dilk and her play, Pam? You mentioned it going to the break. That's the first missed shot for her of the afternoon. She was 8 for 8 before that miss,
including a couple of threes, one right before the end of the third quarter.
Something up on the floor over here on the Michigan bench. Hopefully they see that. And there's Gillespie.
Kaya. The PA announcer here said Kaya is on fire after she took that shot.
I'm sure her family enjoyed hearing that.
Yeah, the Connecticut native. Verjao, nicely done. And just a freshman, Isabella Verjao. You can see she's got that freshman skinny going on, and she just drew a charge. Myers fourth.
Going back to Gillespie, just orchestrating offense, gets to the middle of the zone here, and again has several defenders there, but eyes Myers under the basket, and Myers on the move, which helps. And just good patience and strength. I mean, Gillespie's so strong. It's like a woman amongst girls, the way that she's able to move around the floor despite the number of defenders guarding her.
She's averaging a double-double, has one tonight, 10 boards, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Dilk misses one in a row. Not just a jump shooter. Amy Dilk now has a new career high 21 points for Michigan.
Good patience by Kamu.
And another three drops in for Wolfwood.
And Kamu played that perfectly, allowing for the defense to clear out.
Now she's hit her last couple of threes. The lead is 5. Dilk put off. Hillman pushed by Baldwin. Few know more about the ACC than our Mark Packer in West Durham. Knowledge put to the test tomorrow night at 8 Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. They will take you through the best games, players, and plays from the last decade as we say goodbye to the 19s as we head towards 2020.
Right now, the #1 team in the country, Stanford, is in trouble at Texas. Robbins misses that one, but the Cardinal down 3 with 4.8 left to go in the fourth quarter. Another #1 could go down in women's basketball here shortly.
What a win that would be for Texas. They did get off to a slow start this season. Kamu, high degree of difficulty. Puisis boards it. Wolfhook, difficult, got it! Naja Wolfhook has come alive.
If you have watched the Noles this season, you know that when things get tight or the game gets close, Naja Wolfhook tends to get more confidence. How about the hang time and the use of the glass on a Sunday? Wolfhook, the senior, stepping up when her team needs her most.
Verjao just picked up her third. Naja Wolfhook off to a really slow start. And it is over now. Texas has taken down #1 Stanford.
Yeah, huge, huge win. And as I mentioned earlier, Stanford has been winning with a roster of injuries. I mean, some players that would be starting for them, like Dejanay Carrington, or they just prevailed with the play of freshmen. I mean, Maya Dodson is injured, and so they've been getting by, but that's a big win for Texas and Karen Aston. I think Collier had a good game, just trying to glance at the stats. That's a huge one.
Shot clock in the single digits. Dilk Misses. Gillespie gets yet another rebound. So will UConn be number 1 next week? UConn will play Oklahoma on this floor next. UConn still unbeaten, and they are number 2 in the nation.
Michigan was in that zone. Now they've gone back to a man. They're trying to find a way to stop the bleeding because Florida State's done a good job both from the inside with Gillespie and the outside with Woolfolk of breaking down the zone defense and getting scores.
As you take a look at the AP poll, Stanford now with the loss. UConn, Oregon State, a lot of Pac-12 representation. Florida State at number 8, Michigan number 24.
Yeah, I mean, the way the voting has been going, UConn will be number 1, but I don't know that Gino Auriemma would say that his team is where he would want it to be or what the number 1 team should be or look like. They've grown quite a bit, but it's hard this year because everyone's beating everyone. And Connecticut also hasn't gotten into the really tough part of their schedule quite yet either.
Jones couldn't deliver. Florida State holds on with 20 seconds to shoot. Florida State, this is a dangerous time right now for Michigan, down 8. Need to get some stops.
Yeah, they were down big to Syracuse in the 4th and came back, so they have that ability. But this is a much better Florida State team than I would say Syracuse was at the time that they played the Wolverines.
Sue Semrau calls a timeout for Florida State. We will take one as well. The Noles up 8.
Backcourt defense, their length, they were covering up shots. Well, Woolfolk has found a way to put points on the board in the second half.
Got a couple of threes in the second half. Florida State shooting over 55% in the second half after a slow start from the floor.
See the double team on Gillespie, Jones. And that was because her player doubled on to Gillespie. And so she was able to get to the offensive glass without a box out.
Now Florida State is plus 11 in second chance points. Biggest lead of the game for either team, 10 points for the Noles. Trying to run their record to what would tie a program record 12-0. But Robbins has been pretty quiet here in the second half. In fact, that's her first point since the break.
Yeah, the long shot was off by Haley Brown, who has really struggled here in recent games. But Robbins here with that offensive rebound, just toughing it out. You better believe Florida State talked about Robbins at halftime and needing to limit her opportunities. And some of it is just that Michigan hasn't gotten the ball where it's needed to be on the offensive end in the second half. Not as intentional. And who's hot?
Robbins in the first half was 5 of 6. She's only taken a couple of shots in the second half. That's a foul.
Well, there's that 1-2-2 full court defense by Michigan. Now, Pam, one reason why I think they haven't been able to enforce that as much is Michigan hasn't been able to go to their bench as much as Florida State has. They've played 4 players off the bench rather sparingly, where Florida State has been able to play 4 off the bench, 3 of those in double-figure minutes. So they've got a little more energy, a little more pep right now through the Noles.
Yeah, River Baldwin with 12 points off the bench to lead the way. No foul. And Michigan under 5 minutes to go to come back from what had been a 10-point deficit. Outside shot, Robbins didn't want to take it, but banked in.
That finger roll with the right hand, kind of nasty, off the glass.
Taylor Robbins now with 18. She and Dilk have combined for 40 of Michigan's points.
This is how Michigan has been able to work their way back into late game deficits with their pressure. But Seminoles have a more veteran backcourt than some of the teams that they've been able to turn over.
Michigan scored the last 5 points of the game, and Jones almost coughed it up. She did. Michigan with the comeback. Down
Michigan
5 with the ball.
Not out of this whatsoever, especially with Kayla Robbins making moves like that. over Michigan. And so right now, Michigan needs to not only get good possessions and obviously not turn the basketball over, but they've got to find a way to slow down Florida State on the offensive end. Their defense is their strength, and when they can create turnovers and wreak havoc, that's when they're at their best.
Dilk draws the foul. Gillespie got her.
Gillespie gets up, wincing, holding her side. Body contact on Dilk, who's been aggressive, and she's had to be.
Second on Gillespie, and Amy Dilk continues on what has been a career best day in scoring. Does miss the free throw. She's only a 68% free throw shooter on the season. 21 points, 9 of 11 from the floor. Gets him a point. So 6 straight points scored by Michigan.
Three-quarter court defense here. Some pressure for Michigan.
Wolfett found the lane and took advantage.
That's what you have to do. You must attack it. The bulk of that pressure is on the front end for Michigan when they extend full court. And if Florida State can get the ball to the backside and get to the rim, that's a big shot for Brown. She has struggled from the field.
That was huge for Haley Brown, who had missed her first 6 shots of the game. Just like that, it's a 3-point advantage. It had been 10, but Wolfett does another good job of drawing contact.
Can you be aggressive without fouling? You know, Michigan is getting there, but can you contest shots without putting the nose on the free throw line?
Henry Johnson called for that foul, and now Wolfett heads to the free throw line where she is 1 for 1. Wolfett with a terrific second half, just 2 points on 1 field goal in the first half. Kim Bronzerico talks to Amy Dilk, her sophomore point guard. Now a little bit of a clock issue that has been resolved, just a slight delay. Well, she gets them both. Big free throws. Gets the lead back up to 5. And they will not guard her there. She doesn't have a jump shot.
They're looking for Dilk here. Not surprising the way she's been able to do this right here. I mean, no one has been able to stay in front of Amy Dilk with 2 shoulders without fouling her.
Yeah, she's either going to get the shot off cleanly or draw the foul.
Very crafty.
Courtney Weber picks up her first, 5th team foul, so bonus in effect for the rest of the game. Nothing But Net comes your way every Sunday at 8 Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Preview the week ahead, look back at the best games from the past week with highlights, analysis, and insight that only the ACC Network can provide. That's coming your way about 5 hours from now on the ACC Network. Dilk now with 24 points. And another slashing play, this time by Ikamu.
And there's some foul trouble as well for Michigan, so they can't be as aggressive in stopping that.
Hillman doubled, but kept it alive with her hustle. Boy, that's a tough shot for Johnson.
I told you, man, Michigan does not give up. They're right in this game.
Gillespie, nope. Myers, good board. And you see the universal sign for slow it down from Ikamu, who just put her palm up to settle her team. Shot clock though now 5. Wolfett, good defense by Hillman, but a pass to Gillespie, who just couldn't finish.
Oh, that was a fancy pass. That was a pretty one. I don't think Gillespie was anticipating that.
Myers knocks it out, 22 seconds to shoot. Michigan was down 62-52, down by 10, and here they are Just down by 3.
And whether they get a steal or a deflection out of their full court defense, it gives them energy. They feed off of that. What a block.
Robbins sticks with it, but does not get rewarded. Kayla Robbins couldn't hit. No foul, excuse me.
And Brown gets an emphatic block.
Robbins, in and out. Boy. A couple of chances there.
And you have to wonder how much of that is fatigue. Robbins has played so hard every minute she's been in this game.
Big misses for Michigan, so they're still down 3. Kamu, that was a difficult pass, but Myers somehow was able not only to grab it, but to score it.
Much better guard play from Florida State in the second half. And how about Wolfo getting the steal?
Gillespie, unselfish all game. Gillespie with her 9th assist. It's 72-65.
Willing to step up and run the offense, and Wolfo hitting big shots. It's been their 3 seniors.
Michigan needing to score. Brown had a 3 a couple of possessions ago, and that one went in and out. Another rebound for Gillespie, who gets grabbed.
Look at Gillespie.
What a homecoming for Kaya Gillespie. 1 assist away from a triple-double. Look at those numbers.
Incredible. And she let the game come to her. Had a couple of possessions where she was determined to get it up for the most part. She wanted to feed off of the double team and the attention that she was getting from the defense by finding her teammates.
Just 4 of 13 from the floor, but showing contributions in every other aspect. Already with the new career high with 9 assists. Homecoming, Sue Semrau, her head coach, said she was excited to come play here. It was a good tournament anyway, but an opportunity for her senior to come play in her home state of Connecticut. She's putting on a show. Cedor in.
Cedor not see very many minutes in this game again. Michigan did not go as deep as consistently on their bench, but Cedor can hit the 3. She shoots it at 35%, long range, 13 3-pointers on the season.
Gillespie right back to the free throw line from Meriden, Connecticut, about an hour from here. Meriden is a little bit southwest of Hartford. That's the capital of Connecticut. You knew that.
Of course I did.
And now for today's Player of the Game, brought to you by the Air Force Reserve. Local kid makes good.
Well, Kai Gillespie is averaging a double-double in points and rebounds, but the 9 assists is where you just are impressed. You see so much more than just a player that can shoot and rebound, but can find her teammates, can be a playmaker, who can take on the pressure of a double team or even what looked like a triple team in some instances. I mean, this nice move there, Pam. Sue Semrau does such a great job with her program, and it doesn't get enough credit. And we've seen success at Florida State, getting a quick one and timeout call. But I don't know that we've seen a Florida State team that works this well together. I also love the way they respond.
Going 12-0, which would match their best ever start. They went 12-0 to start the 04-05 season. Michigan resorting just to fouling.
Trying to extend the game. Trying to put Florida State on the free throw line, see if they could get them to miss a couple and get a quick score and try to close this gap.
Myers delivers. Kim Barnes-Arico team doesn't get any easier for them as they will play 6 days from now, taking on Maryland on December the 28th as they get into the full-blown Big Ten schedule. And then they'll play Maryland again January 12th. That'll be a noon game on that we'll have for you on ESPN2. So they got Maryland twice in the first 2 weeks of the regular season.
Did you just pick out the Maryland games coming
I
up?
did. Well, Maryland was picked. I know you hate this. Maryland was picked to win the Big Ten. Woolfolk with the finish. What a second half for Florida State as they win it 79-69. The Seminoles go to 12-0 on the season. Now there's 7/10 of a second left. They're putting back on the clock. What a game for Kaya Gillespie. The Meriden, Connecticut kid comes home. 14 points, 13 rebounds, and a career-high 9 assists. Just missed a triple-double. And now they have given her another assist. It is official. It is a triple-double. As we update that, 10 assists for Gillespie. Triple-double time.
What a performance, and she did get that last long pass at the end. But either way, Pam, it's a triple-double and a great homecoming for Kaya Gillespie and for Florida State.
Well, LaShawna Robinson and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward saying so long from Uncasville. Nothing but net